Welcome back to the Road to Glory save with Aveley. This is the start of season 6, and after getting beaten agonisingly in extra time in the playoff final last season, I'm determined we're going to build a squad that can get us into League One this season. Let's go and meet the team. Okay, so we're going to meet the squad in a second. I just want to explain how this episode's going to work, because the last episode we started at the beginning of at the end of the season and just looked back at how the season went on. It's going to do it slightly different this season because I just want to try out different ways of doing it, see what works best. So what we're going to do is, we are currently at the start of the season. As you see from the table in the bottom corner, we've not actually played any games yet. We're basically at the point where we're 4 days away from the start of the season for our first game of the season against Barrow. And there's a reason why we're 4 days not on the day, but I'll show you that in a second. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the squad we've put together, the transfers we've made, bring you up to date on any news items that you need to know about, things like that. And then the next time you'll see me will be around the middle of the season kind of thing, probably just at the start of the January transfer window, where I'll say how we're doing. I'll show you some of the results we've had and all that sort of stuff, and we'll look at what transfers we particularly might want to make in the January transfer window. And then you'll see me again at the end of the January transfer window, where I'll show you what signings we did make and how we're currently looking going into the second half of the season. And then next time you'll see me be at the end of the season, where I bring you up to speed on how the season went, how we finished, what our plans are for the new season. Again, any newsworthy, notable items, things like that. Hopefully that will work a little better than the previous episode. But let me know in the comments if that is how you like it, or if there's any other way you feel it should be done that could make the episode more enjoyable, make the episode better. Not sure how long this save is going to go on for. It's basically until we either reach the pinnacle of English football with Aveley, or until I get sacked, whichever one comes first. This will not be me going to other clubs and managing them or anything like that. This is purely just an Aveley save now. And I want to thank you for your support on the last episode, the first episode of this Road to Glory. Please leave a like on the video. Please subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications if you want to see this pop up in your inbox, all that sort of stuff. Let's get into the reason why we are starting now on the 25th of July. And we go to the inbox, and I've been offered an interview from Hull. Now, obviously I'm not going to be going to the interview. I'm not going to be accepting it or anything like that. But the whole board have invited you to attend an interview with them as they wish to discuss with you the possibility of becoming their new manager. The board are very impressed with your fantastic performance at Aveley, which is why we have identified you as one of their top candidates. One of the reasons the board have decided to offer you an interview is because they feel you would be an acceptable fit for the club's realistic vision for the future. Now, at first glance, I was like, oh, that's good. We've got a championship team that's taken an interest in us. You know, that's really awesome. Then I click on Hull. They're in the Premier League. We are a League 2 team. I'm a manager in League 2. And I've had a job interview from Hull City in the Premier League. Now, I've got to say, I weren't expecting a job interview from a team in the Premier League. It's certainly not happened in the Bottoms Up series, if you've been watching that. We've not had any Premiership clubs come in for us there. But we will decline the interview, and as you see there, you have declined the job interview with Hull. So yeah, we will not be going to Hull, because like I say, this is a one club save. But I was really fascinated by the fact they even took the time to offer us a job. Okay, so let's have a look at the squad. We're looking at it on the tactics screen. We've got a 4-2-3-1 here, and as you see, there are some new players in this squad that you won't be familiar with yet, and we'll get into the actual transfers that we've done, and we'll get into the 2 transfers that are pending at the moment. So if we go back to the end of last season, you obviously know about Josh McNamara, who came in January as our goalkeeper. We then went and signed a couple of youngsters. When you get the email come through that their youngsters are being released from Premier League clubs and all that sort of stuff, we brought in this guy, Declan Cinnamon from Manchester United. Can play as a centre-back. I doubt I'll be using him there unless I have an injury crisis. But I will certainly be using him in the defensive midfield area. Can play the ball-winning midfielder to 3.5 star. He is 3.5 star current ability of 5 star potential. Probably only going to get to 4 star. Can also do defensive midfield, halfback, Segundo Volante, anchor and deep line playmaker to a degree. But yeah, got it, saw him, offered him in on trial, saw how good he was, and I was like, yeah, we've absolutely got to have him. Then we go and Christopher Shepherd. Now, for those of you that are watching Bottoms Up, because I'm getting very confused at the moment, I'm pretty certain I signed him for my Colchester team in League One as a youngster that will maybe play in the future, might give a bit of a chance to in the first team in the Bristol Street Motors Trophy, things like that. We've actually brought him in. Wants to be a right back, but he can only do no nonsense fullback and all that sort of stuff. But he's definitely got the potential there. He can also play in the middle of the park, but again, doesn't want to be a central defender or a ball playing defender. He wants to be a no nonsense type of thing. But we've got him in from Arsenal. Let's see what he does with us. Potentially, he could be really, really good for us. Then we brought in Ethan Ingram on a free transfer. Now, he's the guy at the moment that we've got in our right wing back position. 2.5-star current with 3.5-star potential. It will probably be between him and Shepherd as to who actually does nail that role down. He's come in from Dorking. He was that last season anyway. He's on a free transfer. Then Eric Burns, as you know, we had him last season on loan from Swindon. Done really well for us. I was really impressed with him. And we've basically brought him in again. He's good quality, 2.5-star current with 3.5 to 4.5-star potential. 20-year-old Irishman. Like I say, on loan from Swindon. I wanted him back. Then we got George Barrett as a backup goalkeeper. As you know, we've got McNamara as our first choice. George Barrett is our backup, 2-star current, 3-star potential. Hopefully we're not going to need to use him too often, but if we do, he's capable. Then we've got Gabriel Overton as a striker that's got good pace to him and some good acceleration. 23 years old, 2.5-star current ability with 4-star potential. He was at Hereford last season, 5 goals in 10 appearances. That's a pretty good return, to be fair. And I kind of looked at him and thought, yeah, I like the pace he's got. Let's bring him in. You know, we were struggling for strikers at this point, so we needed to start getting strikers in. We've also got an affiliation with Crystal Palace. And after I brought in Gabriel Overton, bearing in mind, I've paid a transfer fee for this guy, 8.7k. We then found this guy, Kevin Nicol, 19 years old, 3.5-star current with 4 to 5-star potential. And I fell in love with him as soon as I saw him. I mean, ignore the finishing bit, that's not great, but I think he could be the difference maker for us this season. I think he could fire us to glory. And if he can't, we've got Gabriel Overton that can come in to support him. Then we've got Mark Vaughan, who is a centre-back, 6'6" with 17 jumping reach. 11 heading isn't too bad at this level. 3-star current ability, 4 to 5-star potential, 19 years old. Again, this guy could be an absolute beast for us. He really could. Then we get to the more flair players in Terrell Whitaker, who can play anywhere across the attacking midfield 3. He can play up top as well. He's got some reasonable attributes to him. There is a bit of a concern of the fact that he doesn't like big matches. In fact, he dreads playing in big matches. And he's a bit injury prone. But hopefully we can get some good performances from Terrell Whitaker. Then on the other wing, we've got Akil Higgins. Again, can play anywhere across here. Can play up top as well. He was at Wrexham for a few years. Only made 7 appearances. Again, he doesn't like big matches, which is a concern. But at least he's not got an injury proneness. That's a bonus. And then we've got Jacob Devaney, who can play in the centre of midfield. He come in, another one of the youngsters, 21 years old, previously at Manchester United, has played a little bit for Leyton Orient a few years ago. 3.5-star current to 4 to 5-star potential and great determination as well. Again, someone else that can play in that midfield. That if we then go to a tactic, our midfield is looking awesome. Cinnamon as a ball-winning midfielder. Jacob Devaney in the deep line playmaker role. We've got central defence of Cook and Vaughan. Eric Burns is on the bench at the moment. He could end up coming in. If he does, he's probably going to end up on the right side. But Freddie Cook is the better player. He was with us last season. 7 goals he scored for us last season. Absolutely vital goals as well. So yeah, this is how the team's looking with McNamara in goal, Vaz at left back, Ingram at right back, Vaughan and Cook in the middle, Devaney and Cinnamon in the midfield with Higgins, Whittaker, Osario in the midfield and Nickel up top. Now, Osario's role might be changing because if we look at the transfers, Brandon Childs, 3.5-star current ability to 4.5-star potential ability. He's on trial with us at the moment. We've put in a bid for him. Hopefully we're going to get him. If you look at who's wanted, he's wanted by Wrexham, Harrogate and Ebbsfleet. For the bids, it's us and Ebbsfleet. Now, I would like to think that he will choose us over Ebbsfleet, to be quite honest. And he thrives on playing in big matches. It's so good to see that in there. There's no injury proneness. He is a fairly inconsistent performer, apparently. But hopefully he can find his feet at this level if he joins us and really push on. Then we've got Joel Salah, who is a fullback, a left back to be exact. 2.5-star current ability to 3.5 to 4.5-star potential. Has been at Wrexham for a couple of years, not made an appearance for me. Wilston, he's originally come from Watford's academy. The reason why we've gone for him is because I've kind of looked at our tactics. I'm looking down these star ratings and Edwino Vaz. I mean, bless the boy. He's been here since day one. 183 appearances, 11 goals. He's probably a legend, not just of this save, but of this channel. You know, Edwino Vaz, I love this guy. He's been with us since day one. I don't ever want him to leave, to be quite honest. I want him to come all the way up to the Premier League with us if we get there. But in all reality, I look at it and I think, how can we have a 1.5-star left back when we're improving everywhere, but we're not improving at left back. Darren McCauley, who's a youngster, he's also only 1.5 stars. If we actually do a comparison between him and Edwino Vaz, bear in mind Vaz is in the blue, Vaz is actually better than Darren McCauley, and that's why Vaz starts ahead of McCauley. You know, there's certain things like mentals, they're the same, aerials, they're the same, speed and physicals, they're the same, but he's a better defender, he's got better vision, better attacking and better technically. So yeah, that's kind of why we still go with Edwino Vaz, to be fair. If we look at the schedule and have a look at our pre-season friendlies, we played Newcastle Town, not Newcastle United. Really comfortable 6-0 win. Kevin Nickel, Mark Vaughan, Ethan Ingram, Claudio Osario with a couple of goals and Josh Woods as well. Then against Hereford, Mark Vaughan and Terrell Whittaker got the 2 goals in that game. We lost 2-1 to Woking. Claudio Osario getting on the score sheet there. Shamar Lawson scoring against Eastbourne Borough in a 1-0 win. So there's not been too many pre-season friendlies. I've been concentrating so much on new signings. And our first game of the season will be against Barrow. If we actually have a look, and we've got Barrow, then we've got Ipswich in the Carabao Cup, which I doubt we're going to beat them. They're in the Championship. So, yeah, not something I'm looking at winning there. But Barrow, Harrogate and Cambridge are our first 3 games of the season. And if we look at the season preview, we're currently registered to finish in 16th, which from the board's perspective, they'll be delighted with that. As long as we avoid relegation, that's what they want. Personally, I want promotion this season. So Barrow are the first team we play, which they're expected to finish bottom, so it should be a really comfortable win. Then we've got Cambridge, who's the other 2, Cambridge and Harrogate. So Harrogate are down here. They're also expected to get relegated. Cambridge expected to win the league. So I think it's fair to say that in our first 3 games, we've got a couple of nice games to get some confidence up. Then the business end of the season kicks off against Cambridge. So when I will bring you back next will be roughly around this area. And what we'll do then is we'll have a look at how we've been performing so far. We'll look at players that we might want to bring in the January transfer window, players we might want to sell on. Also update you on anyone we've managed to bring in the summer transfer window, because that doesn't finish until the end of August, of course. Then after that, the next time you see me will be around this time, where the January transfer window is closed. We can show you anyone we've bought in, anyone we've sold or let go or whatever. Also show you how we've done in what is a very busy January. And then the next time you see me after that, we'll be at the end of the season, either after the game against Walsall, when we've hopefully got promoted as league champions or second, or it'll be after the playoffs, or it'll be after we finish outside the playoffs, and it's been a disappointing season, really. But then what we'll do is we'll do the end of season review at the end of this episode as well. We'll have a look at what targets we've got for the summer, what positions we need to strengthen in. And then that will be the end of season 6, the end of this episode. So it will take me a few days to play through this season. The hard work for me begins now. And you will no doubt see me in various different changes of t-shirts during the course of that time, because I'm not going to be able to do it all in one day. And I'll see you around the beginning of January, end of December time. Right, well, here we are at, well, it's not the halfway point, it's just over the halfway point in actual fact. We've played 27 league games and we're sitting pretty, third in the table in the automatic promotion places with 57 points. We're 7 points behind Cambridge and 9 points behind Rochdale. But more importantly, we are 6 points ahead of Swindon, who are in fourth in the just outside automatic promotion places. And yeah, this season is going really well. We've lost 2 games in the league, as you can see, both away from home. One against Doncaster 4-3 and the one against Cambridge that we played 4-2. Cambridge for a long time have been leading this league. Rochdale have seemingly come from out of nowhere, really. If we kind of have a look, I wouldn't say exactly out of nowhere, but if we have a look at their schedule from the start of the season, as you see, they've had a decent season, let's be honest, but they did pick up some defeats around here. But really, they've got a very decent run from this point here. They had another decent run here as well. Yeah, Rochdale have been good. They've come from almost nowhere. If we have a look at our schedule, however, and go back to the start of the season, and we started off a 4-0 win against Barrow. I'm not going to talk you through every single result, but the first one being a 4-0 win against Barrow. Akil Higgins, Terrell Whitaker, Kevin Nichol and Harry Green getting on the score sheet for us. Them 3, obviously, our key front 4 players, really. Then we got knocked out of the Carabao Cup first round by Ipswich, losing 3-1 in that game. We're kind of developing a bit of a rivalry with Ipswich, but we'll get to that in a moment. Then we had a few league games. We had a defeat there against Cambridge, as I showed you earlier. But overall, good results, picking up some clean sheets as well, scoring the odd goal here and there. Before we then lost in the Bristol Street Motors Trophy to Forest Green. Now, I'm really not that bothered about the Bristol Street Motors Trophy, but at the same time, if you have a look at the team that I put out for that game, it wasn't exactly a team that I've rotated around. But then we had a good month in September, picking up 3 wins and 2 draws. What we seem to have done a lot of in this game is picking up draws from losing positions. You know, so if you take it, for example, against Shrewsbury, we were actually 3-2 down, but then David Cower come back, got a draw for us, able to pick up a point. And that happened a few times during the course of this season. As you can see down here in December, we got 4 draws out of 6 games. And at that point, I was starting to think that maybe the wheels were coming off. But as you can see, if we filter the competitions down, and I want to show you our FA Cup run, which has quite frankly been ridiculous. We got Eastleigh in the first round. I was happy with that nice, comfortable fixture. We did rotate a little bit. We even gave our reserve goalkeeper a game. I mean, we didn't have much choice because we had our main goalkeeper was out injured. But yeah, George Barrett played. Dioria Henry has been playing as well. Our central defensive 2 of Freddie Cook and Mark Vaughan were in action. Edwino Vaz came in for that game. He's not been playing that many games this season, and I'll show you why shortly. I went on a bit of a meltdown, and we now have about 5 left backs at the club. If you remember earlier on in the video, I was saying about Edwino Vaz being the best we've got at 1.5 star, and that's not being enough. It escalated from there, shall we say, but we're getting to that in a moment. Then obviously Kevin Nicol, Devaney, Cinnamon, Whitaker, Higgins, Woods came in. So what I was doing around here as well was I was playing Kevin Nicol in place of Azario, who as you see came on as a substitute. And I was playing Kevin Nicol in Asario's position in the attacking midfield part and putting Josh Woods up top. It was actually working quite nicely. It's probably something I would look to do more often, but I have to be careful of how often I do it because obviously Kevin Nicol is on loan from Crystal Palace, our affiliate club. They want him playing as a striker in every single game. So we have to try and stick to that. But every now and then I do mix it up a little and put Nicol in there because it gets him involved in the game more as well. And he plays really well in that position. Then as you can see, we had a pretty decent team out, even though it was against Eastleigh. We only won the game 2-1, but we were pretty much in control for the whole game. Then we played against Barnsley, who are currently sitting second in Sky Bet League One. And what a game that was, 4-3. It was an absolute cracker of a game. We went 1-0 up through Kevin Nicol, but then they brought it back to 1-1 before we then went 4-1 up with another goal from Kevin Nicol, David Cower and Jacob Devaney. But then an 83rd minute penalty from Jay Stansfield and then scoring again in the 90th minute. There was 5 minutes of added on time. I think it was 6 minutes. And that was a nervy 5-6 minutes, especially when we had, I think it was 2 highlights during that added on time. It was squeaky bum time. Then we got drawn against Ipswich at home in the third round, and straight away I was just like, oh, for God's sake, why have we got Ipswich at home? You know, at home or away. I mean, at least if it was away from home, we might have got 30,000 fans in the stadium because I weren't expecting to win this. They'd already knocked us out of the Carabao Cup very comfortably. But Ipswich at the moment are 17th in the Championship, so they've not been having a great run of form. They lost the game coming in to us 6-2 as well. But as you can see, we got the job done and I was so happy. They went 1-0 up, but we then come back to make it 1-1. Then we went 2-1 up before then they made it 2-2, 3-2, 4-2, 4-3. At 4-3 after just 62 minutes. Again, much like the other game, it was squeaky bum time. You know, I'm squirming away in my seat. Every highlight that come up, I was like, no, why are you doing this to me, Football Manager, blah, 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 all this sort of stuff. But we got the job done. And Reece Devine, bit of a giveaway there. He's the left back. We've got the main left back now, putting in an 8. Terrell Walker with an 8.1. It's amazing. Now, we have got the draw for the 4th round coming up on the 1st of January. So I'll show you that draw on camera. I'm hoping, it being the 4th round, we can actually get a big team away from home because we look at the finances and we've got 900,000 in the money. We are losing money this season. We were on, I think it was just over 1 million in the bank at the start of the season. And even though we're on this FA Cup run, it's not really doing a great deal for us. However, if you look at the income, the prize money for the English FA Cup, £217,000 this year or this season compared to 113 last season, and most of that has come from the win against Ipswich. We've still got some way to go in terms of our gate receipts. We have had a better month this month, maybe because we did get a few more fans in at home and maybe because of the game against Barnsley, who knows. But yeah, we want that big game. We need to get the money going back up again. You know, a Manchester City, a Manchester United, an Arsenal, Liverpool, even someone like West Ham, who, you know, they can fit 60,000 in their London stadium, according to Football Manager. So we will take playing against them all day, every day. If we go back to the schedule, and we'll just unfilter it and put in all competitions, just so we can carry on from where we were, really. The Bristol Street Motor Trophy, we went out at the group stage. We drew with Forest Green, but then lost the penalty shootout. Then we lost on penalties to Tottenham's under-21s. And they're pretty decent under-21s, actually, Tottenham, but it was 0-0 penalty shootout. Then we had Walsall, and we then won the penalty shootout. So we couldn't actually win a game outright. We finished on 4 points. Tottenham's under-21s finished on 5. So we went out of that competition. Again, I'm not too disheartened by it. This is a December I was saying about, but, you know, we've not actually lost a game since the game against Doncaster. We've gone on a nice run, even in the league. And, yeah, it's meant that as things stand at the moment, we are third in the table, 6 points ahead of Swindon. Hopefully we can push on in the second half of the season and nail down the actual automatic promotion place. I am a bit fearful that things could fall apart with injuries, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So if you go to the medical centre, look at our injury history. 48 injuries so far this season. I mean, it has been insane. The amount of injuries we've had, I just can't get my head around it. And what didn't help is Ethan Ingram on the 18th of September picking up a hip injury which put him out for 3 months. He was our first choice right back, and without him, I looked and I thought, I don't know how we're going to cope, because we've got Deoria Henry and we've got Christopher Shepherd, the youngster. I don't think either of them are good enough to be a regular in there. They could be okay filling in, but certainly not as a regular. Darren McCauley was also out for 2 months. We went in an area where Darren McCauley, Joel Salah for 4 weeks, and Reece Devine for 3 months. 3 of our 5 left backs all picking up major injuries. 14th September, 14th of September, 7th of September, all around the same time as each other. And that's kind of why Edwino Vaz got an even more extended run in the side. As a result of that, I'm going to put a little thing on screen now, over here somewhere, or here, or wherever it's going to end up, where Edwino Vaz has now become our record all-time appearance maker. If we have a look at him, we'll find him down here somewhere. Here he is, bless him. He has now made 195 appearances for us in all competitions. Well, is that all competitions, or is that... might just be the league, actually. But either way, he's made 195 appearances for us, and he's now taken over from Harry Gibbs as the all-time top appearance maker. So, well done, Edwino. Really pleased for you. Now, talking of Edwino, I have been having this thought about what I do with him, because in the January transfer window, I am looking at moving on a couple of left backs. Now, if we have a look at our squad and filter by position, Bailey Berry, I think, needs to go, because we're never playing him. He's made a couple of appearances for us this season, 1 as a start, 7 off the bench. Then we look at, where were the rest of our left backs? Come on, we've got loads of them. Bailey Berry. Oh, here we go. Joel Salah, you'll remember, I bought in the transfer window. We've also got Darren McCauley, who's not really amounting to much. I'm looking at wanting to move on McCauley, maybe not Salah, because he's only just signed for us, but McCauley, Berry. I'm also looking at wanting to move on Luciana Dioria Henry, who's one of our right backs. Now, we're not going to get anything, or not much, money-wise from them. But, to be honest, I don't really care if we get rid of them for free. But I just want them moved on, because then that's creating some space in the squad. But what I then want to do is I want to keep my eye out for a defender that can play on the right and the left to a decent standard. They're likely to only be a backup to the first team, but if they are better as a right back than Ethan Ingram, for example, then fine, they'll be a starter right back. And if we need to move them over to the left, we have that luxury there. But I just like to have that person on the bench that can play both left and right back. And if they can even do something in the middle, wonderful stuff. If we look at expiring contracts, so there's some of these that only signed this season, like Reece Devine, for example. I'd absolutely be looking at trying to keep hold of him. Harry Green, I'll probably try and keep hold of him, because he is a useful player, can play anywhere across that attacking 3. Henri, like I say, we want to get shot of. Don't mind if he goes to free. Claudio Rosario, I'm not decided on him. I've got to be honest. I mean, he's having a terrific season. He's got 8 goals and 9 assists in 31 appearances so far. So he's having a pretty decent season. But I just think with that, we could probably do a little bit better than him. Then we've got Ethan Ingram, who I will be looking at keeping hold of, because he's a good right back. Then Cortez, again, I probably will keep hold of him, because he is a good ball-winning midfielder, deep line playmaker, that kind of thing. Gabriel Overton, was a mistake signing him. He's £550 a week that we're wasting. If we can even get rid of him in January, we probably will. Josh Woods. Now, I do feel sorry for this lad because, as you can see over here, he's had 7 starts, 16 substitute appearances, 23 appearances in total. He's got 6 goals and assists. He does score. You know, we had a thing come up about his vows to end his goal scoring drought. And I kind of feel sorry for him because he's just coming on as a sub all the time. But at the same time, when he's coming on as a sub, he's rarely scoring coming on as a sub. He's definitely the kind of guy that if you give him a few starts, he'll score for you. But coming on the subs bench, he's not quite as decent as you'd like him to be. Maybe we get rid of him, keep Overton. Who knows? Overton is 4 years younger. Bailey Berry, also contract runs out, so if we don't get rid of him in January, he will be gone in the summer. So what we can say at the moment for definite is Deoria Henry and Bailey Berry will definitely be gone at least in the summer. Joel Salah, now that I've got Reece Devine, I'm regretting signing him. So we probably won't be keeping him around. Christopher Shepherd, now he's on you. He's got a bit of an injury at the moment as well, by the way. He's not out. He's only out for another day. But I had a choice between Deoria Henry or him in terms of being my right back of choice while Ingram was out injured. And after flip-flopping between the two a little bit, I decided to go with him. And as you can say, he's a natural as a right back, but he's really not been playing that great. He's not played badly. He's not had. If we look at his recent form, he's not had a game where he's been in the red. You know, he's 6'9", 6'7", 6'6", 6'8", 6'6", 6'4", 6'2". So he's playing okay in every game, and then he has a couple of games where he does play really rather well. That 6.2 there was by far his worst performance. His average rate is 6.7, which overall is not too bad. And we are training him in this position now as well. So hopefully he can get better. And that's the, you know, if you're 18 years old, 3-star current ability with 4 to 5-star potential, you are hoping they will improve. Now, if we look at this, he's only 3 stars and no-nonsense fullback. He's more of a 1.5 star when you play him as a wing-back. So that's why we have gone into his individual training and set it that he's being trained as a wing-back on attack, which is a position he's playing in. So hopefully the fact that we're focusing his training in that role, he will actually get a lot better in that role. Now, what we also have is just something I want to bring your attention to, really, is if we filter this like that and go into... So there you can see we played Kevin Nicol recently in that position there in midfield. Now, this guy is a bit of a conundrum for me. He's on loan from Crystal Palace. As you see, he's a superstar striker. He's a best forward player by a mile. And he's been doing a great job. You look at the league, he's got 11 goals, 3 assists. That's 14 goal contributions in 25 appearances. More than one every other game. More than one goal contribution every other game. You have to be relatively happy with that, to be honest. And none of them are penalties as well. If you imagine if we actually had him set at taking penalties, I mean, what is his penalty taking? I mean, diabolical. We can't have him taking penalties. But if he was taking penalties as well, you'd probably up that from 11 to 14, 15 probably. And then you're all of a sudden you're talking a different style altogether. You're talking different heights of achievement and whatever. However, when he plays well, and if we look at his form as well, it's not like he performs massively well. I mean, look at that run of games there. He's not really played great in any of those games, but he had a little spell here where he was an 8, a 7.2, and 9.4. You know, he's got another 8.9 there and a 7.2, 7.4. You know, he can put in the performance. He averages a 7.18, as it says just there. I praised him, and I'm going to put a screenshot on screen now of the conversation we had because I praised him for doing a good job. It was around this time, and he got the ump with me. Now, I don't know why someone would get mad when you put in, well, when you compliment them on playing well. It's not like I was doing it every game. It wasn't like I'd done it after that game, then after that game, then after that game. I think it was after this game that I done it. And then he just didn't perform for a few games. And like I say, I can't understand even though interaction logic is meant to have improved in Football Manager, why you'd get the ump with me because I've decided to say, well done, good game. Okay, so let's move on from our friend Kevin here. And the next thing I want to show you, so obviously, you know the tactic we're using the 4-2-3-1. So I think that's really you caught up as far as you need to be. And I don't know if I can find we've had the youth intake preview. I'm not sure if we can find the email. No, it's just about contracts that are going to expire, which we'll get rid of those. But, okay, so I'll put up on screen round about now the email we had, because I did screenshot it just in case I couldn't find it in here. And as you can see from the screenshot, it is, let's just say, a poor youth intake that we're going to be getting. And my director of football, his contract is coming up for renewal. Not my director of football, my head of youth development. So I think I'm going to have to get rid of him and bring somebody else in, because we need at least one decent youngster coming in. I know we're League Two, and if you look at our facilities, I mean, we've got half a staff of youth recruitment, one staff of youth facilities, one staff training facilities. I know we're not set up for that kind of thing, but yeah, I see all these other people getting like these amazing youth intakes, and I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they do it, because it's very rare I get even if I'm doing an offline save, which I'm not doing many offline saves at the moment, because this Aveley Road to Glory has taken up a lot of my time outside the Colchester stuff. But even when I do, and you know, I can be with Arsenal or Manchester City or anyone, and my youth intakes are just average pretty much every single year. So if you know how to get decent youth intakes, feel free to let me know in the comments. I'm quite happy to try different things, to be quite honest. Now, it does say here rumours of potential board takeover. I've not seen any emails stating that there's rumours of potential board takeover. But what we will do now is we've set a new high for gate receipts and record attendance after the game against Ipswich of 4,467 fans. That was a previous attendance record. Our gate receipts for that game was 95k. I mean, that's nothing for a third round of an FA Cup. It was 25k lower against Walsall in the FA Cup third round. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move on to the 1st of January, when the transfer window obviously opens. But more importantly, it also means that will be the draw for the FA Cup fourth round. And fourth round or fifth round? Fourth round. We're not in the fifth round of the FA Cup. I think the game's getting to me head on. It's certainly not the fifth round. So no, the FA Cup fourth round. So let's see who we get in the FA Cup fourth round, and I'll see you back there for that. Right, so before we get into the FA Cup fourth round draw, which is waiting for us, just want to show you this thing where I went on a bit of a mental spree with left backs. So we already had Edwino Vaz and Darren McCauley, plus Bailey Berry, that can play in the left back position as well. I then went out and bought Joel Salah, and I say bought, he's on a free transfer. Previously of Wrexham, where he didn't make an appearance for them either. And he was rubbish. He wasn't good at all. As soon as I bought him, he played one game, didn't play particularly well in that game. I mean, as you see, but he's not, I don't even select him. And yeah, he played that one game poorly. I then had Shamar Lawson come to me saying the squad's unhappy, we have insufficient depth at left back, blah, 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 blah. I told him I'm the manager, get lost, sling you up kind of thing. Upset him, and about 6 or 7 other players that were with him. So I then went back into the transfer market. As you see, 1st of September, it was on deadline day. Free transfer, picked up Reece Devine, who's 3.5-star current ability with 3.5-star potential. He doesn't like big matches. He is injury prone. And he has been injured a couple of times, I must admit, as you see most recently here. But overall, as you can see from his graph, he plays pretty decently most of the time for me. And I've been really happy with him. He's got a goal and 4 assists in 16 appearances. Only picked up 1 yellow card in that time. He's been good for us. He really has. And I've been delighted with the signing of Reece Devine. So we've kind of filled that role at left back. Now, let's get into the FA Cup draw. 32 teams should be in the competition. Well, 32 games. Yeah, 32 teams left in the competition. And let's see who we get. So we've got Watford, who, if we look at them, don't really want them. They only get 22,000. They get Stockport. Newcastle or Leeds. We'll take Newcastle. I'll take Leeds as well for that matter. I mean, Leeds get a good amount of, or they can get a good amount, put it that way. Newcastle or Leeds. Can it be against Aveley? Against Preston or Southampton? Take that. West Ham or Huddersfield. Hopefully it's West Ham, not Huddersfield. But yeah, we'll take this one. West Ham versus Aveley. No, against Tottenham or Swansea. So that's another big game gone. Norwich or Hull, no. Grimsby. Fulham or QPR, not really. Against Burnley or Aston Villa. Arsenal or Cardiff. If it's Arsenal, we will absolutely take this one. Bromley or Liverpool, so that's another big one gone. Sheffield United or Crystal Palace versus Port Vale or Notts County. Peterborough or Everton versus Coventry. Now, I will say we don't want to be drawn at home because there's not really any teams in here that I'd be confident we could beat. Southend or Nottingham Forest versus Plymouth or Man City. So there's another big one gone. Crewe or Manchester United. We will take it. I don't mind getting hammered by Manchester United. Crewe or Manchester United versus Stoke or Reading. These draws just don't like me, do they? Wolves or Salford versus Middlesbrough. Rotherham or Brighton versus Bristol City or Blackpool. Are we actually in this draw? I'm starting to get the feeling we're not in this draw. Yeah, we are down here. I mean, Aldershot are still in it and Forest Green are still in it. So if we do get drawn at home, I don't mind having Aldershot or Forest Green at home. I'm confident we can beat them. We don't want Luton Town. You only fit 10,000 people in the Kenny. Against Bournemouth or Bristol Rovers. Good, we didn't get those. Leicester or Brentford. Versus Sunderland or West Brom. Forest Green. They are at home. Are we going to get Forest Green and potentially be able to get into the 5th round of the FA Cup? We've never been in the 5th round. We have. We've got Forest Green. We're away from home. They're in the same division as us. That is absolutely a winnable game. Okay, who do Aldershot get? They've got a home tie. Oh, they've got Bolton or Chelsea. They could have had Chelsea at home and them away. Okay, so let's move on to that because Forest Green, as you can see, they're 6th. Is it 6th? Yeah, 6th in Sky Bet League 2. So they're in the playoff places. If we have a look at our schedule, we've played them here in the league and drew 1-1. And we've also played them with Bristol Street Motors Trophy and drawn 2-2. So there's been pretty much nothing to choose between us when we've played them this season, other than a penalty shootout, of course. But that's going to be, where are we playing that game against Forest Green? So that's going to be in January, round here, 20th of January, at the New Lawn. How many fans can they fit in their stadium? Oh, 5,000. I was hoping they might have been able to fit 10,000 or something, you know. But the Eco Club Forest Green, I mean, that's possible. We could actually do that. If we look at a schedule, what's the best we've done in the FA Cup with Aveley? Oh, no. Let's unfilter that. Let's filter the FA Cup. So if we go back to the beginning of the save. So in our first year, we got to the 2nd round and got knocked out by MK Dons. The following year, we got only to the 1st round and got knocked out by York. Then year 3, we only got to the 1st round and got knocked out at the Wham Stadium by Accrington. Then season 4, we got to the 3rd round, lost in a replay to Walsall. Last season, we got to the 3rd round of the FA Cup, got knocked out by Everton, playing at Everton Stadium. So we actually had a good draw last season. Or, sorry, 27-28. And, yeah, last season. And then this season, we're in the 4th round. So this is the best we've ever done in the FA Cup. We've got to the 4th round. I mean, to put it into perspective, the fifth round of the FA Cup is the last 16. You're only one round off the quarterfinals. I mean, that's mad. Surely we can get ourselves a good performance against Forest Green. Who have we got in the league leading up to that? So again, we'll just put in all competitions. Oh, come on. We'll put in all competitions. So we play Stevenage, who are 19th, and then Carlisle, who are 15th. So I'm kind of looking at the game against Stevenage that we might just need to rest some players in that game, some key, because then we've got Wigan, who are 17th. Rest some players there, so we're ready, fully fit for the game against Forest Green, and really attack that game with all our might. And yeah, you never know, we could do it. Okay, so we'll call it there for that part of this video, and I'll see you again after this transition. It'll be in about a second or two for you. For me, it'll probably be in about a day and a half's time. And let's see what we can do with the second half of the season with Aveley. And we are promoted to League One for next season. And it's agonising that we didn't win the league. We only missed out by 2 points. And if you actually go back over previous seasons, if we go back to when the save started in 23-24, and look at the team that actually won the league, got 82 points, 90 points, 76, 95, 89. And then this season, we've got 98, and we couldn't win the league with 98 points. To be fair, Rochdale will probably feel hard done by as well, because finishing on 95, only one season out of those previous years where they have not won the league as well. But fair play to Cambridge. They've been top of the league for pretty much all season, really. If you look at that graph there, as you can see, all the way along, then they dropped to second briefly here, then back up to first, and they carried it on. What's interesting to look at is Rochdale, because they have been a bit up and down before. Eventually, they kind of settled around here in second, then they went up to first, then dropped back down to second, eventually down to third. And for us, we've been pretty consistent. We've been pretty consistent at third, I'd say, and then we've managed to finish second at the end of it. When you actually look at the table itself, we'll go more in depth there. I mean, Cambridge, 130 goals scored for Cambridge, 67 conceded, a goal difference of 63. I mean, their defensive record isn't the best, but 130 goals in a season, that is insane. We've scored 92, only conceded 41. If you filter the league by defensive record, we are actually top of the table in terms of our defensive record, only 41 goals conceded. I mean, you look at Cambridge all the way down here. I mean, this is mad that they're mid-table for their defensive record. But yeah, it's been a terrific season. We have had 17 draws this season. We've kind of been the draw specialists, but we are unbeaten in the league since about October, I think it is. If we just filter the competition down, only have Sky Bet League 2 on here. And we lost here against Doncaster, a 4-3 defeat. But then since then, we have not lost a single game in the league. In fact, the only defeat we have had since then was in the FA Cup against Brighton, which we'll get to shortly. But yeah, I mean, look, there has been a hell of a lot of draws. When you look at January, 4 draws from 6 games. December, 4 draws from 7 games. You know, that's what, 8 draws in those 2 months. If we could have just picked up 2 wins out of the 17 draws we had, we could have actually won this league, and it would have been amazing to have done so. One thing I do want to show you is Mark Vaughan, because obviously he's on loan from Crystal Palace. Quality centre-back that we've got. He's due to go back to them now, as soon as the season finishes, or his loan finishes. But looking at this, he's actually out of contract with them. They do have an optional contract extension. We don't seem to be able to just approach to sign him. So it's going to be interesting to see if they do take that optional year extension, or if they are going to just let him go. Because if they just let him go, we could actually see if we might be able to get him here permanent for us, because he has been wonderful. I've loved seeing him. But you look at his goals. He's got 8 goals this season, 7 in the league, which you think, okay, that's not too bad. But then when you look at the game, where have we gone? It's the game against Ipswich, or no, just after Ipswich. I've completely and utterly lost track of where we are on here now. Oh, here we go. MK Dons. This is the one right here. 3 goals. Bear in mind, he only scored 7 in the league. I say only. But all 3 of them came in this game, all from corners. Let's just have a look at it. So Green with the corner, Vaughan heads it in. Then Devine with the corner from the other side, Vaughan heads it in. Then Devine again with the corner to Nicol, puts it in, Vaughan at the back post, completes his hat-trick. And there was one more goal, might as well watch it while we're here. Whittaker to Devine, back to Whittaker. Now, Whittaker himself, it's worth noting, he's had a great season. 15 goals and 7 assists, 22 goal contributions from 43 appearances. That's better than 1 in every 2, slightly better than 1 in every 2. He has been sensational. He has been a penalty taker, and out of his 17 goals, 5 of them have come from penalties. So 5 out of 5 for Terrell Whittaker. He has been a tremendous find. I'm so happy with him. He's with us again next season as well. It is currently his final season with us, but we'll see how he gets on. But yeah, just looking at this run of form, and really from the start of February, we were motoring. Only 4 draws in the remaining 3 months of the season, and it was outstanding. Absolutely loved it. Now we're going to go to the inbox because we have started to get a few news items come in that's worthy of sharing with you. So this is our supporter profile. The hardcore and the core are down, but family and casual are up. Fair weather and corporate stay as they are. Our social media following has increased by 7.5k. We now have 20.6 thousand social media followers. 993 supporters have season ticket holders. We don't have any on the waiting list. We're then just so this is our club vision and expectations meeting. Strive to make progress on and off the pitch. Work within the wage budget. That's fine. We always do that. Maximum 1-year contract for players over the age of 34. Attempt to avoid relegation from League One. So if we get relegated from League One, I think we will still be fine. So we will just accept that, which we've done. You have accepted the proposed club vision. Dynamics is great. McNamara has just stepped into team leaders. Last time I looked at it was probably about a month ago in game. And we didn't have any team leaders, we haven't done all season, but McNamara has now just moved into there. The end of season team meetings, so we'll discuss plans with them. Thanks for all coming on, take time to gather their thoughts at the end of a long season. I'd like to talk about our Sky Bet League One aims. Going into next season, I think we're in a good position to avoid, no, we're not going to say. Looking ahead to next season, I'm optimistic we can avoid relegation, no. We need to find the one basically that says that we're going to attempt to avoid relegation, because that's what the board has said. You've all done superbly to achieve promotion this season. I can assure you that you'll be given a chance to come back and help us avoid. I don't want to say that because then I'm promising them that they're all going to be here next season, and some of them are not. I'm absolutely delighted with promotion this season. You've all done really well, but I will have to strengthen the squad over the off season if we're going to avoid getting involved in the relegation battle, potentially we say that. Before you all go away for a well-deserved break, I just wanted to let you all know that I'm not planning to replace any. I can't say that one. Well done on getting the club promoted. I really think that we can stay up next year, provided we make it. No, that don't seem right. We've done brilliantly to go up, but we all know we're in for a tough season ahead. I want you all to know that I'll be sticking with you to fight as hard as possible to avoid relegation. I mean, yeah, I am planning on sticking with them. Well, we'll be sticking with them. I'm not going anywhere. We all know it's going to be tough for us next season and we'll probably come back down, but I want you to all know that I'll be bringing in... I think we'll go with the one about strengthening. Yeah, they're satisfied with that. That's the sort of reaction I was after. I have nothing else to talk about. I don't want to push my luck with them. Off you go. Have your end of season break. There's our team report. So no surprise that Nicol is there and Whittaker. Green is there. It's not Azario. Azil Higgins or whatever his name. I can't remember his name now. Asario is there. I have offered him a new contract. Cinnamon, Devaney in there. I'm so glad they're permanent with us. Vaughan and Cook here with Devine and Ingram, McNamara. end of season break. And as you can see here, it says here, consortium completes Aveley takeover. Now, it's only been in probably about the last month in game that I've seen things about potentially being taken over. We got an email a couple of days ago saying we want a transfer embargo. So I know nothing about this. You're seeing this for the first time like me. So let's have a look at it. Consortium completes Aveley takeover. At least we've still got Sienna with us. A consortium led by Weymouth-based investor Reece Francis successfully completed a takeover of Aveley, replacing former chairperson Steve Batty. Francis revealed that he was delighted by the deal and indicated that he wanted to make a difference for the fans at Parkside. Okay. A personal message from Reece Francis, the chairperson. I want to thank you for your patience during what has undoubtedly been a stressful time for everyone involved with the club. Some 110,000 has been pumped into the club's coffers and a new transfer budget has been calculated. Okay. Director Lance Watson has left the club following the takeover. His replacement on the new board will be Director Che Genovese. So we've got new expectations that are basically the same as the old one. And the board have lifted the transfer embargo. Okay. We have new budgets. Let's have a look at these budgets. I mean, that's not really any different. I don't really know what they've done here. If we have a look at the club info screen, the owner loves the club. We're still in debt. Our bank balance hasn't really changed. Okay, we'll probably move on one day just to see if the finances changes there. Nope. Absolutely the same. I have no idea what has actually happened that's any different. Okay, let's carry on looking back at the season we've just had. And if we take out Sky Bet League 2, put in the FA Cup, that's the only other competition that we were still in the last time you was with me. And yeah, we beat Forest Green 4-0. Kevin Nicol with a couple of goals, Terrell Whitaker and Harry Green. And then we lost to Brighton 1-0 in the 5th round. So frustrating we couldn't get drawn at Brighton. I mean, I don't know if Brighton, how big Brighton, 31,000 still would have been better than 5,000 that you got at Aveley. So, yeah, I'm proud of the fact we got to the 5th round of the FA Cup, the round before the quarterfinals. We were easily the lowest ranked team in the competition at that point. And we've done ourselves proud. We didn't get thumped or anything like that. We've done ourselves proud in the game against Brighton. Let's now add all competitions back into this. There's not really much more to look at from this side of it. If we go to our squad, look at contracts that are expiring. So Harry Green, I have set him for release because even though he's had a good season, he is very injury prone and I can't really take him into next season with me. I need to try and improve on him. But he is solid 3 stars in everything. So it has been with a lot of strain. Can't think of the word, but it's been with a heavy heart. That's what I'm trying to say. Luciano Diorio Henry, he will be moving on. Nothing against him, but he's barely featuring for us. Azario, like I say, I have offered him a new contract, so hopefully he will accept that and stay. Gabriel Overton will be going. Woods will be going. Bailey Berry will be going. Joel Salah will be going. Obviously, at the moment, Nicol and Vaughan will be going as well. Everybody else will still be here. So if we actually look at our tactic, other than Kevin Nicol, who, like I say, will be leaving, as obviously Mark Vaughan will be leaving as well, what I'm kind of looking at the moment is bringing those like that. We will have no striker. We've got a lot of business to do in the summer. So the squad planner as it stands at the moment for next season, I mean, this isn't right. What's going on here? So we need to move this over to next. I don't know what has happened with this because this isn't what I've done for next season. Okay, anyway, this is what we've got. So we're currently looking at McNamara and Barrett in goal. I'm fine with that. There's nothing needs to change there. We've got Reece Devine at left back. we need another left back, basically. We also need another right back, because we do have Ethan Ingram, and Aveley can play there as well, but he's like 1 star. He's here for another year. I'm going to try and sell him on in the summer, but I don't think anyone's going to want him. So basically, I'm looking for someone that can play left and right, so that we can have them for these positions. Then we've got Cook and Francis Clark can play there. Shepherd and Francis Clark can play here. I separated Shepherd and Cook because they're my 2 first choice. We do need at least 1 more centre-back. So at the moment, that's a left, a right, and a centre-back. So we need 1 in each position across the back line. Here we have, again, I've separated Devaney and Cinnamon into the positions they play. Cortez and Guiamphy on this side, with Lawson and Guiamphy on this side. So technically we have 2 for each of these 2 positions, with Guiamphy that can do it as well. I'm going to show you some transfers we've made already, that players that are coming in, why I'm not too concerned about the midfield positions. Azario will be in here, but we do need to get someone better than him, really. So we do need a first choice here. Akil Higgins, David Cower there, with Terrell Whitaker, David Cower. We could do with another wide man that can play at least left and right. And we need a couple of strikers. So, yeah, let's get into the transfers that I've already made and go to, well, you saw them there, actually. We'll look at future transfers. So when you get the email with the Premier League clubs that have released their players, these are the players that I've basically brought in from that. So we've got Ivan Todd from Manchester City, who can play on this right-hand side. He's 2.5 star current ability with 5 star potential. He will be coming into the first team. He'll take care of this right-hand side for us. He's under 21, won't need to be registered, all that sort of good stuff. I'm looking forward to seeing him. So, you look at his acceleration, his pace, his natural fitness. He's got a good amount of flair to him as well. I think this guy could be quite exciting for us next season. Mike McGrath then comes in as a defensive midfielder. He can play there as well, but we're going to be training him in a defensive midfielder, probably as a ball-winning midfielder. And again, 2 star current with 5 star potential, 18-year-old. He's in from Liverpool. Also in from Liverpool is Ashley Holmes, who can play here. We're going to be training him to play down here as a deep line playmaker. If you look at him here, he likes to be a ball-winning midfielder. He can do a deep line playmaker as well. So, yeah, we're just going to train him in this position and see if we can get him working towards being an effective player for us. The fact he's got 2 stars currently is great stuff. And then Bruce Pratt comes in. He's coming in with... Okay, I've got confused. He's going to be the deep line playmaker, not the other guy. We'll go back to the other guy in a minute. But yeah, again, 2 stars already, 5 star potential. With Ashley Holmes, I'm actually going to be training him as a striker because he can do the pressing forward. So we can keep training him as a pressing forward. He will probably be one of my strikers for next season. But I do still want to bring in a couple as well because I don't want to just be relying on this guy. But he's got 13 finishing. His composure, concentration, decisions are not too bad. So yeah, these will be coming in as soon as the transfer window opens, I believe that is. If we have a look at, 12th of June, they'll be coming in. So I'm going to now move the game forward until we get to the end of season review, and I'll see you back here then. So here we are then with the end of season review. Let's have a look at our new arrivals. No fancy cup to bring in. So Kevin Nicol, we're getting no rating whatsoever. But look at that, 28 goals, 9 assists with 52 games, 7.06. He has been amazing for us this season. I've really enjoyed having a striker that's just been scoring goals at a steady rate. He's not really, I don't think he's got like a hat-trick all season or anything like that. But he's just been banging in goals on a pretty consistent basis. Reece Devine as well, we're not getting a rating for him. But 7.05 rating, 11 assists. He really has been great at that. He's been good defensively as well. He come in from Oxford United. Mark Vaughan, same, 54 appearances, 8 goals, 5 assists, 7.04. He's been awesome for us as well. All 3 of these have just been amazing. Then we get Terrell Whitaker. I don't know why. Oh, we're probably getting no board reaction because it's a new board. So Terrell Whitaker, for me, he's probably been the sign of the season. They're giving it to Jacob Devaney. And I can see why, 44 starts, 3 substitute appearances, 4 goals, 3 assists from the defensive midfield role. He's really held that together. Him and Cinnamon, the pair of them, have been awesome. And very similar figures as well. But for me, I would give sign of the season to Terrell Whitaker, but they disagree. Ethan Ingram as well, he's been pretty good. He had an injury at the start of his time with us, but after that, 5 assists and a goal, I've been happy with him. Akil Higgins, I've been happy with. He's not been as prolific with his numbers as Whitaker, but he's done a job on that left-hand side. Christopher Shepherd, who we've given a bit of a run to in the centre of defence in this second half of the season, and even though he's only 5'11", he's actually been doing a reasonable job there. He's not scored a goal, but he does have 2 assists, and he is now an international footballer. He made his debut for Trinidad and Tobago. He's made 2 appearances, I think, so far. Great stuff for him. He's coming on nicely. George Barrett's a backup keeper. He's played far more games than we thought he ever would do, but with McNamara picking up a couple of injuries during the season, we've needed a good backup, and he's been that good backup. And then Joel Salah, who, bless his heart, made 1 appearance, and then I forgot about him once I brought in Reece Devine. The season's results, the league speaks for itself. I couldn't be happier. The board wanted us to avoid relegation. I never thought that was going to be an issue. I thought we'd be taking on the playoffs again. I didn't think we would be good enough to go up automatically, let alone very nearly win the league. Torquay won in the playoffs, by the way. They've come up with Cambridge, Aveley and Rochdale. Our average home attendance, 2,230, 38% coverage, with Kevin Nicol being our top league goal scorer on 21 goals, A+ rating there. FA Cup, the FA Cup, they give us a B rating. Could they not give us an A+? What more could they have wanted from us in the FA Cup, to be realistic? In our 5 matches, we beat Eastleigh, Barnsley, Ipswich, Forest Green and Brighton and Hove Albion. We lost to Brighton and Hove Albion, sorry. Carabao Cup, we went out to Ipswich. C for that, quite understandable. Bristol Street Motors Trophy, it is what it is. Again, I'm not too concerned about it. Our biggest win was a 5-0 win against Barrow. Match to remember was their 2-0 win against Stevenage, and the goal of the season came from Declan Cinnamon in the game against Eastleigh. Looking at the finances, sponsorship has gone up. It's all basically doubled. Broadcast revenue has gone down considerably. Corporate and hospitality has gone up. Competition prize money has gone up. And match day and commercial and retail has also gone up. Our shirt sales, Azario, Lawson, Shepherd, McNamara and Cinnamon selling the most shirts. Quite interesting that Shepherd's in there, our youngster. I'm glad to see that. And we sold 358 shirts. So, yeah, we'd hope to sell more, but 358 is better than nothing. Looking at how we lined up, this has got us as McNamara, Devine, Ingram, Cook and Vaughan. I suppose it was for most of the season. Shepherd came in towards the end, like in the second half of the season, so I can give him that. Devaney and Cinnamon, absolutely. Whitaker, Azario, Green and Nicol in the attacking positions. That's been such a good team for us this season. And looking at it next, obviously, Nicol and Vaughan we know will not be here. Green will not be here, but Higgins will be. The rest of that team will all be here next season. So hopefully we can make a good fist of it in League One. The accolades of my manager of the month twice. Claudio Azario was the fans player of the season. Kevin Nicol was the young player of the season. Jacob Devaney has been put down as sign of the season. Declan Cinnamon with goal of the season. Kevin Nicol, the top goal scorer, 28 goals. Claudio Azario, top of the assists with 14 goals. He has accepted his 2-year contract that we've offered him, so he will be here for another 2 years. Terrell Whitaker, 7 Man of the Match awards. Claudio Azario with the highest average rating of 7.1 and the most passes completed per 90 minutes, Sebastian Cortez with 50. In terms of the record breakers, Josh McNamara with 22 clean sheets holds that record. The worst discipline is Jacob Devaney with 15 yellow cards. He didn't get any red cards, to be fair to him. He did pick up at 15 yellow cards. Most league appearances by a player, Edwino Vaz, 204 appearances. He holds that. This is shocking. Highest transfer fee paid, Gabriel Overton. He barely played for us, and we've just let him go for nothing to Dorking. History of making a remarkable season for Aveley, started superbly and never let up. They are deservedly going up. That's from Danny Wood of the Football League paper. Then from Colin McFarlane at Sport Bible, I mean, take whatever Sport Bible say with a pinch of salt. Aveley dared to dream, and thanks to a great run way back at the start of the season, their promotion dreams came true. Manager timeline, I'll do what I always do and go to the beginning, and I'll just go through it a little bit. So if you want to pause it and have a look at it, feel free to do so. But the manager timeline don't really mean a great deal to me, and that's the end of the manager timeline. So pre-season start date will be the 25th of June. A couple of intermediary signings here. So what's this one saying to us? Frankie Havid. Okay, so he's a centre back. He's 5'11". I've already got Christopher Shepherd that's 5'11". I want another one. And then Mikey O'Neill as an attacking midfielder. We do need an attacking midfielder, to be fair. And what are they? So that would be nothing. He's 3-star current, 3-star as an attacking midfielder. Let's see if potentially what we carry. He only wants to be a fringe player, so that's fine with me. Oh, no. No. I mean, I'm not happy spending that amount of money. Oh, I'll be walking away from that one. So in terms of our finances, we do have £261,000 transfer budget. Once players have left and everything else, we're going to have another £14,000 or £13,500 to bring players in. So yeah, it's going to be a tough summer. It's going to be a very tough summer in actual fact. If we go back to our squad planner and we've got the midfielders here. If we add, can we add? We need to work out which ones of these we want to bring in. So let's go to future transfers. These are the guys I want to put into the squad plan. But I'll tell you what, I'll do that for the next episode because this is already running very long. And the end of season review is pretty much finished. So we'll have a look at our overall 11. Esquierdo, Vaz, Diorio Henry, Cook, Berry, Giamphi, Kai Benton, Odelusi, Green and Rush. On the subs bench we've got Kowalsic, Aidan Francis Clark, Temi Awika, Claudio Azario, Jimmy Mewett, David Cower and Charlie Hughes. So no one from our team at the moment is actually getting in there. And all the where are they now stuff is wonderful. £482,000 for participating in the league, which the finances are £852,000. Yeah. Okay, so leave a like on the video, folks. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of my videos popping up in your notifications. And I'll see you next Sunday for the review of our first season in League One. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.